Welcome to the Team Builder Show, where the most successful team leaders share how to build, scale, organize, and ultimately maximize your sales team results. Finally, I've got Teresa on the set. Welcome to the show, Team Builders. Listen to these numbers. 814 transactions last year, 17 salespeople. That's 47 transactions per person productivity, $235 million in volume, $6.7 million in commission with an astounding 60% net profit after splits.
Yeah.
Girl power. We have a lot to unpack.
Good.
Give people some context that maybe haven't met you, haven't seen you at our events, though you get celebrated a lot because of your success and certainly your amazing coach who's sitting over there. How long have you been in the business? Tell us about where you work, and then we're going to unpack everything.
Okay. So 2005 is when I actually started.
And what were you doing before?
I was human resources for Hershey chocolate.
Really?
Yep, sure
Interesting.
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Savannah, Georgia?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't make chocolate. I mean, we made aesthetic milk, but it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Same pay structure, same company.
So why did you go into real estate?
Well, they actually were shutting the plant down. They were selling it, and I had a choice to make whether I was going to move with them or stay with my family.
Yeah.
So I chose to do this. I bought a tanning salon, was bored out of my mind.
Yes.
And then was actually driving to TJ Maxx. This is a horrible story. Driving to TJ Maxx.
We want all horrible stories. This is good. Yes.
Praying, God, I know this is not what you want from me. I know
Yeah.
there are bigger plans for me. Looked up, missed my turn, looked up. Real estate classes starting tomorrow.
Wow.
Literally turned in, signed up, called my mom, said, hey, I need you to watch my kids every Monday and Thursday. You know.
So 2005, being a historian of real estate, gave you 18 months to 2 years before the wheels came off?
Yeah.
What was that first experience like? And then how did you do during the global economic meltdown?
I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I came in on the end of what my friends call stupid money.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know any better. I was just working. I had 3 kids. I was divorced. And I had to do it.
Key distinction. You had to.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the only people that should get in this business have to make money?
I think you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
Whether it's because you have to or you just love it that much.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, I had both. I still have both. I still love it. And maybe I don't have to as much, but I still love it. And, people ask you all the time, when are you going to retire? When's enough? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Right.
Like when it's not fun anymore. I won't do it anymore.
So let's go back. 2005, you get in, and I imagine we won't go into all the details of year 1, year 2, year 3. Mm-hmm. At what point did you say, enough is enough, or whatever the moment was that you said, team, I need to build a team?
Again, like 2011, I think I was on stage with you about that time, and you were asking me some of the same questions. Yep. And I said, my hair was falling out. I wasn't seeing my kids. Right. Like, it was just a really stressful time. I sold like 93 houses by myself with a part-time assistant. And I was like, this is it. I can't do this.
Yeah.
So
as remarkable as that was, like, that's a very revealing, real moment, because someone's going to watch this and go, that's me.
Yeah.
93 could be 62, could be 36, but that's a lot of business for one agent.
It sure is. And it's a lot of responsibility, and you still have your family.
Right.
And they should be just as important as work, more important actually. But, when we're trying to make sure we can pay for college, we're just going. And so we had a guy come approach us, or I had a guy come approach us. And he wanted to be a buyer's agent, and he had been in the used car sales business, and he just got his license. I was like, come on, can't hurt nothing. Let's go.
Right. What's the worst case?
So he was my first buyer's agent. And then we realized that we needed, some additional admin help, and we just kept going, and we just kept growing. It was just like the more people I added, the more business we have. So I'd have some more, and it got crazy until I started coaching, and I started like tracking and measuring everything. Yeah. And then you were like, okay, I have to have this many agents for this, and it became more manageable. Yeah.
It sounds like in the early days, you went through what a lot of people go through is just capacity. Mm-hmm. I only have so much time. I only got so many days, and I got so many buyers, and that requires so many showings and so many listings, and it's a capacity issue. Right. Going back though, I want to know, like, you're at 93 transactions. You already have an assistant. You take on this buyer's agent. When did you finally realize, okay, wait a minute, like, I could be the most dominant, like, teamerage in town?
Yeah, we were already getting there because we did things that other agents didn't do.
Yes.
You know, we were already thinking outside the box. And then, of course, we joined coaching, and it got even better because I wasn't creating everything myself or staying up at night trying to figure out everything.
Yeah.
Because somebody had typically already done it and would share it with you.
Yep.
But as we added and we grew and we did different things, and I told somebody not too long ago that people said, "Oh, she's crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy. Why are you doing open houses? You're crazy."
Yeah.
Like those crazy people in California are doing it. It works well for them. Let's try it. You know? So we just did a lot of things that other agents weren't prepared to do and would not do. And we answered our phone.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We're gonna come back to that one because I know, like, when it comes to online leads, which you guys do a lot of, but not all of it, right? But it's a big chunk of your business. So let's unpack though. You make it sound like it's easy, right? Was that because of your experience as an HR director in a major corporation? So you were battle tested and trained on hiring profiles and organizational structures and scope management. Like where did all this come from? Or maybe what were the mistakes that we're not seeing as we're talking
I probably made every mistake there was, and I promise you I wasted a lot of money in the beginning, with all the people that call and say they can make you, number 3 on Google or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid to try something different or do something different or be goofy. I remember, being with you and you're saying, just do it. Just make the video. It doesn't matter if your hair's good or whatever.
Yeah.
And once I realized that it really doesn't matter. Nobody cares what my hair looks like.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if I have makeup on or not.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do the video.
Yeah.
And we were one of the first teams that did video, and we all did it.
Yeah.
And as we grew,
in little Savannah, Georgia,
I'm sure they got tired of me saying, "Well, Sheila said, Tom said,"
Yeah.
and they used to tease me all the time about, "Oh my God, she's going to a Tom Ferry event. What is she going to buy this time?
Right.
What platform or whatever?
What's the new software he's recommending or program?
She's going to come back, and we're all going to have to do this."
Yeah.
But we did, and that's why we're successful. We listened.
So if I said to you, and I already get, just your DNA is like, go forward, go forward, go forward. But I'm just curious if you'd unpack, if you had to reflect back on the 3 low moments, the 3 biggest mistakes, the 3 toughest losses that makes us who we are today, what would they be?
Well, I will tell you that first buyer's agent, making the decision that he wasn't the right fit for my team anymore was crushing.
Why?
Because I loved him, I cared about him, and because he was ready to go too. He didn't like the way we were going, and it wasn't a partnership.
Yeah.
So it's like we're still great friends.
Yeah.
Like we can be friends, and I will help you, and he'll still call me every once in a while because he freaks out about everything. But it's like my road is not your road. Yeah. So go be successful going down your road. And he stayed with our brokerage for years after that.
That's
and was
great.
super successful and still is.
That's great.
But
so the pain of losing someone you love.
Yeah, they're your friend. Like they're part of your life. You spend as much time with them as you do your family a lot of times. And it's just it's like a breakup kind of.
Yeah. Every team leader says the same thing.
Yeah.
Alicia Essig said to me, I'm interviewing her today, and she said, God, like the first person on my team, or like she was a manager at her brokerage. She's like, and I gave this woman so much. I gave her my heart and soul. She was my friend, and I helped her get to this extraordinary level of business. And then she left to another brokerage.
Yeah. And it happens, and you just have, you can't take it personal. Yeah. It's not personal. Yeah. Like they're doing what they think is best for their family. Yep. And you just have to love that. That's just, I love you. Be successful. Go do it.
Yeah. What was mistake number 2 or moment number 2 that you were like, ooh, that hurt?
Realizing how much money I wasted, that I was wasting.
Tell us about that.
It was when we started tracking everything. I remember when Sheila sent me the first production report and said, you got to put all this stuff in there, and you got to put, and my assistant at the time said, you're never going to do that. I was like, we're paying the Tom Ferry organization $1,000. We are going to do this. I don't care. You're going to do this. Somebody's going to do this. God is my witness. And so we did, and as
the production report was like the sign you saw, real estate ads or whatever, like come into real estate.
She's still with me, and that was like 10 years ago almost. But she will tell you that production report was the real estate Bible. Right. Like that is what we lived every single day of our life by. It's like, how many do we have under contract? How many do we have? How many have we closed? Who closed what? Da 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 da. And then it was the QuickBooks. Mm-hmm. What's our what is our production versus what we're spending, and da 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 da, and where are we getting things from? And I'm not analytical.
No.
That's not my innate trait to be
Yes.
analytical at all.
And you spin everything into the positive.
I do, because
I mean, I'm like, what's your biggest
I
pain?
know I'm
You're
not
like-
Pollyanna
you're like,
either, but people will say that. I
Yes.
am so sorry, but it
I love
is
it.
what it is, right?
No, I love it.
Like, I just have to, I have to punt and roll and
Right.
go with it, and things aren't always, roses and cherries, but I got to
Right.
pretend like they are.
Right. Why do you think so many, not just team leaders, but that certainly this is the show, so many agents in general just miss the whole business is math. Marketing is math. And oh, by the way, it'd be nice if you had a profit and pay your taxes on time. And like, why do you think so many people miss that?
I don't know. I think that sometimes you're so busy doing the business that you don't have time to actually look at and analyze the business. So I was guilty too. Just running, and you see your paycheck and you're like, oh my God, I'm killing it.
Yeah, look at that.
And then
big
you don't
check.
realize that you're wasting all this money and you're
Right.
really not killing it. Like, your net is your net.
So what did you and Coach Sheila do in the early days of that production report or that P&L? Because that had to be painful for you also to say what gets cut, what doesn't get cut, or what do we need to optimize and not optimize? Because there's pride in it, there's ego in it. Oh, I can't call company X and suddenly cancel, even though we never used the solution. How did you go through that?
No, I don't have a problem calling and canceling things that don't work.
Good.
Like, I don't.
Good.
But it was kind of a go through, and if you buy one more thing without talking to me about it, I treat them a lot of times like I treat my kids, and it's like,
Yes.
this is what I would say to my own child.
Right.
And I'm telling you that if you don't do
Yeah.
what I'm telling you, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And most of the time, everybody's really good. They know I have their best interest at heart.
Right. So the first big loss, which is I think the great lesson for everybody, is people leave. Right. And we all go through that emotion. I go through it. You go through it. We still experience
And they get
it.
really upset if you're not upset.
Oh, for sure. What do you mean? You don't care? I'm leaving. Well, you just left me. I'm out.
Yeah.
The second one, though, is that awareness around, we oftentimes as business leaders, we throw money right at the problem. And then later you realize P&L, numbers, math, oh my goodness, we're wasting money. My wife is listening to this right now and she's just like, yes, because she is just like, kill the waste. She just said yes in the background, right? Like, kill the waste, which is awesome. What was the third biggest mistake and what was the lesson? Or the third biggest moment?
I think about this sometimes, and I think that in the beginning, maybe even in the middle, that I thought that everybody should have the same mentality as me.
Yeah.
And that everybody should want to make as much money as they could, and everybody should want that. And it took me a while to figure out that everybody's goals are different.
Yeah.
And so I have people on my team that are rock stars and are just always going to it's never going to be enough for them. They're always going to go. And then I have a guy on my team who's very work-life balanced, and he's been on my team for almost 6 years.
Right.
And he came in, he worked for a bank, and as long as he made more money than that, he was good. And he wanted to take care of his family, and he wanted to be able to tell his in-laws, kind of stuff it, because they didn't think he could do it, that he could take care of her that way. So every year he has a plan, every year he does better, but he's never going to want to be the number one agent. He's okay with being 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And, we have new agents, and they have to learn and they have to grow, and they're going to lose money and they're going to make mistakes. And I'm going to give you a lead and you're going to totally mess it up.
Right.
But I have to let you do it.
Right.
Like, I have to let you fail forward.
Yes.
So
Beautiful. So I want to go a totally different direction. 814 transactions. That was a major milestone. Like, just the last couple of years, it was like get to 500, then it was get to 650, right? And then last year you like blew past your goal. If you were to kind of two part, because I want to get to moving out of production and what that's like, because you did it early and I think you did it elegantly, and a lot of people really struggle with it. So I'm going to come back to that. But I want to know first, like, my fundamental belief, Teresa, is that we do transactions in chunks or we do them in onesie twosie, right? And what I see you and so many of the great leaders doing is like tons of business from our past clients in Sphere, tons of business from online, tons of business from farming, and they're being more selective and rigorous around these tranches of clients to serve. Unpack for us 814 transactions. I'm not if you have CSU or whatever, I'm not asking you to go totally in depth, but like, what are the major pillars of lead generation that stand your business up?
Well, and our Sphere and our past clients are definitely a huge chunk of that. Because we work that, and we kind of know that we have to. And then we have, the Zillow, Boomtown, whatever section. We do the open houses. We do a lot of community events, a ton of community events and giving back. And the whole team is involved. And everybody has their little thing.
Yeah.
You know, like Matthew might have his downtown ministry. And then we do the SD Gunner, which is therapy dogs for PTSD soldiers and special needs children. And we do all these things, but we actually go to it and do it.
Yeah.
Like we go there and do that with them.
As a company.
As a company. And it may not be everybody at any given time. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's wherever your passion is, go do that.
Yeah.
And the company, the team supports everybody. Mm-hmm. So if you've got something, we have one agent on our team who was a social worker at the juvenile detention center. So every year she's like, I don't want to go back to jail, but I need us to give a bag of goodies to all the children that are over there. So that's something that we do as well. Like, it's just always, and some things are on video and a lot of things aren't.
Yeah.
But that's a team culture thing.
Yes.
Like, that's who we are. It doesn't always have to be in the public eye.
Right.
But it has to be something that we're making a lot of money. We need to make sure that we are giving it back.
So open houses, Boomtown, which for the people that are listening, huge shout out to Greer Allen and everybody at Boomtown. That's Facebook, Google, retargeting, email,
everything,
on and on and on.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how many people in your database? Like, if you took the whole thing, prospects and everybody.
Oh my gosh. I think that we've been with Boomtown. We've been with Boomtown since we had exclusive territory.
Whoa.
So that's like
10 plus years ago.
Long time ago.
That's a long time.
And
100,000
at least. Yeah. Because we have them like in pockets.
Sure.
So I don't look at the archives so much or the trash.
Yeah.
But if you added those in, you'd be well over 100,000.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that more and more, and it blows me away when talking to someone like yourself or like Lindsay and DJ. And they're like, I have 160,000 people in my database.
Yeah.
You're a team, Ridge, and you have 160,000. Like, it's almost like you don't need any leads anymore.
All the gold is in the database. Like, we say that all the time. All the gold is, there's no such thing as bad leads. There's bad follow-up. Yep. And all the gold is in the database. Like, call your database, email. You can send 200 texts and emails a day. Like, why aren't you doing it? Do it every single day.
Yeah. So talk about that. Like, culturally, where are you spending or directing the team to data mine? What are some of the campaigns that are working? Let's go a little tactical. Like, what's really working to activate listing opportunities, buyer opportunities out of our existing sphere or this 100,000 person database?
I mean, the video texts work well, and you can send a lot of those, or you can send them one by one.
You know what that means, and I know what that means, but they don't know what that means. What's a video text?
Yeah, it just means going, hey, Mark, da 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 da, and then send, right? Yeah. Or, hey, and then just send it to 200 people. The market today is yada, 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 or whatever it is. Yeah. Something compelling that requires them to answer you.
Yes.
And I find that in the beginning, a lot of agents send a lot of me and B, pay and B, whatever. Yeah. A short, quick, to the point, ask a question.
Yeah.
They have to respond because you asked a question.
And like, give us is that like did you hear about the recent sale at X?
Yeah.
Or did you know that company Y is moving into town? Or like, give us an example.
Like you said, I think it was on something I saw on one of the Tom Ferry sites, like, are you still in the market in 2021? Like, we did that and we got huge response from it. So those kind of things actually do work.
Yes.
And we use that still. Are you still in the market? Like, whatever it is, just something short, sweet, to the point that requires a response.
I heard I was sharing with the coaches today, one of the interesting stats. So in the US, 138 million homes, 40% of the homes have no mortgage. And of the remaining balance, 70-ish, whatever million it is, half of them have an interest rate higher than 3.5%. Isn't that shocking? Like, that would be a fun little video. Like, if you have an interest rate higher than 3.5%, we should talk.
Yeah. And we did do that. We've talked about interest rates a lot this year and, get off the fence and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And what's important to you.
Yes.
Is it this or that? Because, I mean, obviously the interest rates will go up.
Yep.
And the home prices will come down eventually a little bit, we hope at least. So, I mean, we don't know what I tell everybody, I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah.
I can just tell you what's happening today.
Yeah.
And what's happening today is you should buy a house, You should buy your home today before we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
And you could argue, the data shows 50 years hedge against inflation. The greatest asset is real estate, always been, always will be. But let's go back to this point around, a lot of your peers in our community that, the upper echelon that you run with, some of them are, they're making the transition to go from being the dominant listing agent and the celebrity and the Madonna, the David Bowie, the superstar in their market to now really graciously trying to put the team first and really transfer those skills. I mean, this is something that, your coach has bragged about. You and I have talked about it. If a team leader's watching this right now and their ambition is they don't want to be in houses at 7:00 at night on a Tuesday. And I'm not making that a bad thing. They're just, maybe they've done it like 8,000 times and they're like, I'm ready to transfer the skills. How did you make the choice? How did you do the J curve, the scary, oh my God, is it going to work? Sheila, is it going to work? And then you come out of it and you're like, why didn't I do that 5 years sooner? What advice do you have for that person to make the transition and then transfer the skills?
Mine was kind of necessity. Like I couldn't help them be better because I was too busy in the weeds doing it myself. So anytime that I would like decide, oh, I'm going to help them, they're my friend. Yeah. And then it would just I'd be on the phone with all the things that you have to do to be a successful real estate agent. Right. When you're talking to all the lenders and the attorneys and all those kind of things. And what I was supposed to be doing was working on how to make the business more profitable and how to help them reach their goals. Yes. I will reach my goal if they reach their goal. Yep. And again, that's what we had to decide, like, what's important to you is what's important to me. Mm-hmm. Because if I want you to sell 75, but you only want to sell 50, you're never going to sell 75 and we're both going to be miserable. Right. So tell me what you want to do and let's get there. Yep. I can't do that if I'm out there selling and listing homes. I can't do it. And I'm not doing my clients any favor because now I'm torn because I've got my agents that need something and I've got my family that wants me. And thank God I have all that. But how am I going to be really good at anything if I'm being torn in all those different directions? So I had to decide. I really like working with buyers and sellers. Like, it's so much fun, but it's also fun to watch people meet their goals and celebrate with them. Yeah. And watch, like, I can affect so many more people as a team leader if I'm helping them hit their goals and they're helping our clients and the happy ball just rolls down the hill. Right. Like that's just way more important to me than me going out there and it being about me.
I mean, I see all of that. If someone's listening right now on the podcast, you got to go back to YouTube and watch this because, like, you can see that. Like, that's very genuine.
It's super important to me.
Okay, tactically, you were at the event. I remember we were in this discussion. It was Team 3. I think Steve Murray was there, and we were talking about transferring skills. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. The room seemed to be bifurcated between, like, people that were adamant, like, I have my listing process, I have my buyer consultation, and others were like, I'm not exactly certain how, like, if anybody could list a house on my team as well as me. Like, they couldn't make that connection. You clearly got that. So I want to transfer all the skills. What do I do? Give me the 1 month, 1 year, 1 week. Like, how do I do it?
Well, it's not just me, right? Because I'm not the best trainer. I'm not the best. That one's authentic, right? Yeah. I'm not the best trainer because I get easily distracted by everything and everybody. There's always something to do, right? Yeah. Exactly. So what I have done tactically is had my lead ISA trains everybody on Boomtown and teaches them how to do all of that, and they go through Boomtown University and blah 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 blah. Yep. My transaction coordinators teach you CSU. Yes. And they teach you SkySlope, and that's what they do. Yeah. I have a lead buyer's agent or a lead agent who, she was a lead buyer's agent, now she's just the lead agent, who I pay to mentor people through. Yeah. And they're not allowed, we don't practice on the public. They're not allowed to go out. Say that again? They do not practice on the public. Yeah. We do not do that. So because I hire a lot of brand new agents. Yep. So you have to go through the script school and you have to do all these things. It takes about a month before you ever can do anything on your own. Do you have all this in like a learning management system? We do. Mm-hmm. Which do you have a recommendation? I mean, there's 8 million of them, but like what's I think we're using Trainial now. Yeah, Trainial. Yeah. So everything is in these modules. Mm-hmm. Is it taught in individual classes? Am I going home and watching it on my own? Are there? I know, like a Trainial, you could set up tests. Like, yes. Like, did you actually learn it, or you just kind of getting through it? Right. Vacuum the house and play it. If you're really smart, you can get through any of it. And yeah. But we have a system where everybody has to do everything, and that those different people sign off on it, and then you go out and you go with agents and you ride with them. You're just a fly on the wall listening to what they do as a buyer's agent. And then once you've done that successfully, then you can move into listing. It doesn't mean, and I hear this a lot, it doesn't mean you can't have a listing a week after joining the team. Yeah. It just means you're not doing it by yourself. We're going to help you. Yeah. It doesn't mean you're not going to get paid. You're going to get paid, but we're going to help you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is a big component of our team, is that everybody's willing to help each other, and we all truly want everybody on the team to be successful.
So this is like perfect, because that's like the tee up for my last question, which is one of the many things that I've admired about you. And then I get, your coach and I have known each other for a long time. So she'll, oh my God, let me tell you, Teresa, oh my God, right? It's your culture. Like everyone talks about hire to it, fire to it, yada, yada, yada. And those cliches are real. And I assume you do that. How do you define culture? And then how do you keep it so like live? I mean, like you have like the highest per person productivity and a stellar culture. Those two, like, normally it's like the culture is good and we sell a lot.
Yeah.
Right. But when you like sell as many as your agents are doing on average and have that kind of culture, like there's some goodness in there that we need to unpack for people. So like, how do you define it? How did you do it? Give us some insight.
Okay. So we give everybody the skinny when they first come in. Like we're not for everybody.
Yep.
We know that. We are different than any other team in the area.
Yep.
We are not for everybody. Here's what's expected of you, because conflict arises when expectations differ.
Say that again.
Conflict arises when expectations differ.
Say it
not
again.
an original quote.
Yeah,
just
I know,
one has been like.
But it's like I can hear that like in a recruiting presentation. Let me explain.
Yep. So anytime we've ever had conflict, it's because somebody thought they didn't understand
An unmet expectation. Yep.
So everything is visual in my office, and it's almost like being in kindergarten, because we always have a theme, and everything revolves around the theme, but it's very visual.
Yep.
So the accountability rules are on a big, huge foam board. They're in the hallway. Tells you everything you've got to do to keep your leads on. People they're like, how do you get people to come to your meeting? Well, if they don't come to the meeting, they don't get my leads.
Yeah.
Or the team's leads. They're not mine.
Yeah.
But so everything has a consequence. It's how much by when, and if it doesn't happen now, now what?
Yeah.
What's the consequence?
Yeah.
So we talk about that in the very beginning. It's drilled into you. And I make everybody interview with like 3 different people, even if they're just talking to them on the phone. Like, don't take my word for it. I will tell you all day long, this is the most amazing team on the planet. Go talk to 2 or 3 other people on the team and see what they say.
Yeah.
Because their view may be totally different.
Yeah.
And they always say something different that you may hear differently.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of training with the agents, like we train them, and then as we go along, they train each other. In our Monday morning meeting, there's always an agent that is assigned to do a training, and they train their peers.
And what happens if they show up and they just bomb it? And what happens if they just like lay an egg?
You can bomb it if you were prepared and you bomb it, but I mean
bomb it like a good way, like you killed it.
That is what typically
so
happens, is that they do a really good job, and then the others learn from them.
Yeah.
And
but
we all do better.
Does it like set a standard? Like, I'm intimidated because, oh my goodness, like Courtney just did a meeting, Kathy just did a meeting. Like, oh, I got to follow that. Like, is there some of that?
Yes, we do have that.
That's a cultural thing.
We do have that. And that's okay. Like, we have some people who are very techie, and then they've got the TV, and they've got the PowerPoint, and they've got this, and they've got that.
Yep.
And then we've got people who show up with a yellow piece of paper in their hand, and they're like, well, I found this really cool app, and and it's like,
sure,
just tell us,
yeah.
But in the every January we do our vision boards, or they're supposed to be done, but I have them present them to the group, because if you understand what's important to Jack, then you understand why Jack acts the way Jack acts sometimes, right? So it's like, we want to know you and love you and understand what makes you tick.
Yep.
So if you stand up here and you say, I want to go to Bora Bora with my husband, we're going to be married for 30 years,
Yeah.
That's one of my goals for next year. Then we're all, anytime you're slacking off, we're going, are you going to Bora Bora?
Yeah.
It's just a little.
How's your husband feel about not going to Bora Bora?
Yeah, exactly. Right? We had a girl that one year, she's not on the team anymore, but she was terrified of goats. Terrified.
Yeah.
So I found a goat yoga class in Savannah, and I would tell her, I'd say, goat yoga? Like, you want goat yoga? Like, I'd go to make my calls.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you and I are going to do goat yoga. And
oh, my goodness.
Yoga, but we're going.
Yeah.
So you just have to figure out what makes everybody tick.
Right.
And then if you share those vision boards with the whole team, it helps everybody understand each other better.
Right.
And understand
there's a stickiness of that too. Like, everybody knows, like, you have created this environment where it's about us achieving the things that we want.
Right.
And then, when you have somebody leave, because it happens, they go to some other place and they're like, no one here does all this stuff. Like, there's no accountability. It's not up in visual. And
typically that's why they'll leave.
Right.
I'm tired of all this accountability.
Yeah.
I don't want to come to call night. And you turned off my leads because I didn't come to call night. It's on the board.
Right.
Like, that's
the rules.
And that's y'all's rules.
Right.
You made the rules. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah.
We sat down in a room and y'all made the rules.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of enforcing them.
Yeah. My job's to facilitate.
And really, I didn't turn your leads off. She did. But I'm not going to say that,
Yeah. Don't hit me.
Anyway, we work a lot on that because I am not huggy, kissy, good job. Like, I'm not even like that with my kids. That's just not my normal persona. I'm like, go, get them.
Right. Kill.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't kill, you don't eat. Let's go.
Right.
But I understand that there are people who need the other things.
Yes.
So knowing their personality and who they really are and know what's important to them helps me manage them better and get the best out of them.
Yeah.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
And of course I'm happy when they're happy. So,
there was so much insight in there. That's going to be one of those, like, go back on YouTube and listen again, like rewind on the podcast, because you unpack so many elements that make up the culture, because it's never just one thing. Mm-hmm. It's starting from the top, the way you show up. It's having everybody's goals up in visual. It's having all the rules up. I love the monthly theme, right? Everybody's accountable. I was hoping you were going to say accountability, because the one thing I know about you is, like, accountability, like, runs throughout the entire organization. And you start in the very, very beginning. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're like, hey, we're not for everybody.
Right.
Because around here, like, we kind of do it this way.
This is how we do it around here.
But then you look and say 47 transactions per agent. Like, well, how else? I mean, you don't get there by, like, you don't fake your way there. You design and grind and work towards and accomplish something of that stature.
And we're very transparent. Like, I will say in a meeting, well, that's why we spend $60,000 a month on Zillow.
Right.
Or that's why we do this, or that's why we do that. Do you know how much the staff costs? Like, we're very transparent about what the team spends because the 50% that they give to the team is team money. So you should have a say-so in how we spend it.
Yes.
You don't think that's working? Then let's figure out how to take that money and allocate it somewhere else.
That's great.
I'm down with that. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for the ROI too.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste money.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about those things, and I bring people in. Like, my personal business advisor has been in the room on a Monday morning meeting and talks to them. I tell them about once a year we go through, you need to have 4 checking accounts. You need to have this. We the same thing. Exactly. So you got to have all this, and you got to separate your money, and you got to make sure that you can pay Uncle Sam, and you got to track things, and we're helping you. We've got Sisu. Like, we're helping you. Like, we're helping you get there.
Yep.
So we're trying to help them understand that it's a business. And you need to run it like a business as well. You're a business within this business. We're a business within that business. And we're all in the real estate people business. So I think that they appreciate that. And a lot of them, when they do leave, they'll call and say, I didn't know how to do a commission sheet. I'm like, that's not a money-making activity. I never taught you how to do that. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Maybe your new broker can. But it's just like, I want the agents to stay focused on what they do well. Building the relationships, selling homes, making money. I want the staff to do what they do well, because they're totally 2 different things.
Right.
You stay in your, I say it all the time, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. I have to tell myself that too. Because I'll get out there and get in the weeds too. And I'm like, go back to your office and get in your lane. Because this is not your lane. And you'll just mess it up. Go back to your room.
Yes, I hear you.
Just go back to your room. So we've worked hard on, and it has been an evolution.
Of course.
Like, because there were times in the beginning I'm not proud that I would say, just do what I said, or whatever. And they want to know why. It's like kids. They want to know why. Why should I do it that way? Or what's the feel, felt, found. Like, when I started doing that, they're like, what? That's the hokiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
You're like, let me
I'm
try
like,
it on
use
you.
it one time. Just try it one time. I promise you it'll work. Use it on your family.
It's like the video. Just do it once.
Just do it once. And I promise you'll see the value. I think that's it. It's value. Like, what is the value of being on the team? What is the value of having a relationship with me or with him or with her or whoever? And we have like many accountability partnerships where they kind of like tease each other, and everything being visual. We have people who'll come up and say, what'd you do this weekend? Like you got 3 more contracts?
Yeah.
Like you're ahead of me now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're like,
it's competitive.
Yeah. And they're like, well, you won't be by tomorrow.
Oh, I
you know,
love
and
that.
I love to hear that
Yeah.
out there because sometimes I egg it on, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Somebody wants to go to Bora Bora.
Yeah, she's beating your behind. You better come on. You're not going to let a girl win, are you? Or whatever.
You know what's so great about this is just sitting here thinking from 2005 to what you've done. Like, I think you've heard me say before, I give my stepmom a lot of credit. Like she says, it takes a decade. Mm-hmm. Takes a decade. After your first decade, like you figured out you figured out your leadership style, you figured out your culture, like you know what you're about. And then the next decade is like how much you can build.
Yeah.
So like to me, like you're just getting started. And you're at 814 transactions, 47 transactions per agent. Like, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. Like the next decade and a half could just be extraordinary.
Yeah, it's about staying abreast of what's happening and figuring out what's next.
Yep.
And
being culturally relevant. Yep.
I'm pretty good at that because I have all y'all for one thing,
Yep.
and I'm always reading, I'm always trying to research, trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah.
We can't be this way tomorrow.
No.
Because there's always something changing. I mean, Facebook's always changing their algorithm.
Right.
Google,
everybody.
Everything. And they all want more from us.
Yep.
Every vendor we work for wants us to do something different and
less.
do it. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you just got to figure out what's the best use of your time or the money, whichever, and go there. And I don't always do everything perfect, obviously. And if I make a mistake, I apologize. And like I said, I'm just very transparent. If I feel like somebody's having a problem, I'll just go to them and say, what is the problem?
Yeah.
What are you unhappy about?
Yep.
And sometimes they do it like that passive aggressive thing on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
You're like, I've been watching your Facebook.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Or whatever. And just the fact that you asked them is enough, that you cared enough to ask.
But that's that whole go the extra mile, show that you care. Like it's easy to say I care, but like when you actually are stalking people on their Facebook page because you're curious, like we get this intuition as leaders, like something's going on over there.
Yeah.
And let me go look and see what's happening in there. Well, what was going on 90 days ago, 60 days ago? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Let's go have a conversation.
And we say things like that. Like, don't come to me crying next month if you don't have anything under contract because you have done nothing but play the entire month of December.
Right.
Or whatever. And December is always like my challenge month.
Yeah.
Because I'm like stay focused. I feel like I'm a cheerleader the whole time. Stay focused.
You're like the head coach.
It's a holiday, not a holiday month. Let's go. It's like stay focused, stay
That
focused.
is a great line. This is a holiday, not a holiday month.
Yeah. It's like I've made the most money as a single agent in November and December.
Yeah.
And of course around Easter because I'd never stopped working.
Right.
It was a day. Yeah. I took the day off. I spent it with my family or whatever. But the next day I worked and the day before I worked.
Yep.
It wasn't like I was taking the whole month off.
Yeah.
And I think that that harping on some of that stuff does
instilling that discipline and work ethic.
Instilling.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It works.
It's
Look
rubbed
at
off
you.
on my
Come
kids
on.
too. I'm not gonna lie. My kids I gotta give them kudos. They're huge savers.
Yeah.
And they've done really well, and I'm very proud of them. But I know I wasn't the easiest mom back in the day because I was running my home life like I was running my team, and now I run my home life like I run my team.
Yeah.
It's way about hard. Like my grandkids call and say, "Hey, Gigi," it's like whoop. Mic drop. Bye, y'all.
Yeah.
So
hey,
I think that the most important thing you can do for your team is to let them do it.
Yeah.
Give them the skills and let them do it.
That's a mic drop moment. That was good. Hey, listen, this was really fun. I'm feeling like we could have gone for like 7 or 8 more hours. We may have to do another one of these.
Well, I got to go to dinner.
I know you do. I know. And I got to do some more filming. Teresa, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being you. The contribution you make to so many, directly or indirectly, whether it's on a Facebook page or in a private meeting or just in a dinner like you go to tonight, like, you are one of those special people that light up a room, and you light up a room not just because of your big personality, but it's because you got the chops. Like you're doing the work so you can get granular with people and like really show them how you're doing it. For that, I am grateful for you.
Thank you. And I don't mind. I'll share.
I know. Well, there you go. Make sure you follow her on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You're on TikTok, right?
I am on TikTok.
Yes. Follow her on TikTok. Get her in a video, get her dancing, get some pointing fingers.
I understood the assignment.
Yes, exactly. All right. We'll see you guys on the next show. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Thank you.
Between now and 2025, all the great economists are saying the housing industry is going to continue to boom. So the question is, What are you building? This is the essence of my Blueprint event, where I ask you to take a few days away from your business and dream about the type of business you ultimately want to build. So to make your reservation, go to tomferry.com/blueprint. I look forward to seeing you at the event.